The Sony FX2 sits in that interesting middle ground where a creator camera has to be small enough for one person, but serious enough to sit beside bigger cinema tools. For this walkthrough, the real question is simple. How much camera do you actually get in this compact body? Before diving into menus, it is worth handling the camera like a working tool. The body is compact, the mount is exposed, and everything feels built around rigging quickly. That matters because creator cameras live on tripods, cages, gimbals, and handheld setups all in the same week. Sony's menu system gives you the first clue that this is not just a stills camera wearing cinema clothes. The shooting tab puts recording format, movie settings, proxy options, audio, and timecode right up front, which is exactly where video shooters will spend most of their time. With the lens off, the full-frame sensor is the star of the show. That larger imaging area is the reason people look at this camera in the first place. Shallow depth of field, wide lens options, and a more cinematic look without needing a huge production body. A camera like this only proves itself once it leaves the desk. Close focus on leaves, soft background blur, and natural color transitions tell you more than a spec sheet. For solo creators, these everyday details are where the camera either feels inspiring or starts fighting you. Back in the controlled setup, the FX2's size starts to make sense. It has that boxy cinema line attitude, but it is still approachable. You can build it into a proper rig, or keep it stripped down when you just need to move fast. Frame rate choices are one of those practical settings that shape the whole project. 24 frames per second gives you the familiar cinematic cadence, while higher options are there when motion needs to feel smoother or when you want slow motion flexibility in the edit. Once a larger cinema zoom goes on the front, the little body suddenly becomes part of a serious package. That is where balance, mounting points, monitoring, and power access matter. Small cameras are great, but only if they stay usable after real glass is attached. Switching between PAL and NTSC is not a casual tap-and-go setting, and Sony makes that pretty clear. If your work involves mixed delivery regions, decide early. A reboot is manageable, but mismatched footage and playback limitations can slow down a shoot fast. Outdoor footage is where the camera's full-frame character gets room to breathe. Bright backlight, deep shade, and a person moving through the scene all challenge exposure and color. When a compact camera can hold that together, it becomes much easier to trust. Record settings are where the technical side meets the practical side. Higher bit rates and color sampling give you more flexibility, especially when grading or matching cameras. The trade-off is storage, workflow weight, and whether your computer is ready for those files. With a top handle, monitor, and lens attached, the FX2 starts to look less like a small camera and more like a modular cinema system. That is the appeal. You build only what the job needs, instead of carrying a fully loaded rig everywhere. Back at the table, the conversation becomes less about hype and more about fit. This kind of camera is not only for spec hunters. It is for people who need reliable autofocus, strong codecs, flexible rigging, and a body that can move between content and client work. One thing I appreciate about this category is how honest it can be. You're not buying a magic box. You are buying a foundation. The body gives you the sensor, recording tools, and Sony ecosystem, but lenses, lighting, audio, and setup still matter. Dual gain sounds like a simple performance boost, but the limitations are important. Base sensitivity behavior, frame rate limits, and mode restrictions all affect real shoots. It is the kind of feature you want to understand before you rely on it during paid work. Editing performance is part of the camera decision now, not an afterthought. High-efficiency codecs can look great and save space, but they also lean hard on your hardware. A powerful graphics card can make the difference between smooth playback and a frustrating timeline. The sample clips in golden light give us a useful stress test. Sun through trees, dark trunks, and bright grass create a wide contrast range. If the footage keeps texture without turning crunchy or washed out, that is a good sign for documentary and travel work. On the timeline, codec choice becomes very real. ZAVC HS and H.265 is efficient, but efficiency often means harder decoding. If your system is older, proxies may not be optional. They may be the difference between editing creatively and waiting on every scrub. Seeing the body between other cinema cameras helps put in context. The FX2 is not trying to replace every larger tool on set. It is trying to give solo operators and small crews a serious full-frame option that can scale up when needed. A faster graphics card smooths out the same kind of heavy footage, and that changes the experience dramatically. The camera may capture the image, but your workstation determines how quickly you can review, cut, color, and deliver it without breaking your rhythm. Lined up beside other compact cinema bodies, the Sony's identity becomes clearer. It is part of a crowded field, but that is good for creators. The choice comes down to lens ecosystem, autofocus behavior, color workflow, rigging needs, and how you actually shoot. The timeline test with newer hardware reinforces a simple point. Camera files do not exist in a vacuum. If you choose a demanding codec for quality or efficiency, make sure the rest of your pipeline is ready, from storage speed to GPU support. Exposure tests with a color chart and a face are incredibly useful because they remove the guesswork. Skin tone, shadow detail, and highlight roll-off are easier to judge when the setup is controlled. This is where camera differences become visible, not just theoretical. After all the menus, codecs, and comparison shots, the bigger takeaway is practical. The FX2 makes the most sense for creators who want cinema line handling in a compact body, and who are willing to build a workflow around what the camera does best. Side-by-side overexposure comparisons are a good reminder that no camera is immune to bad exposure, but some recover more gracefully than others. For real-world shooting, that means protecting highlights, watching skin, and choosing settings that give you enough room in post.